Time to quantum leap into the age of divine enlightenment and let Kathy provide you with the tools of knowledge you need to awaken spiritually. That's the Quantum Leap Show. Let Light Unite every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Revolution Radio, Studio B.
Enter into a world unseen on Raven Star's Witching Hour. You will encounter eclectic topics from the realm of spirit brought into our matrix of truth. With your host, the Solaris Blue Raven. Solaris will bring you an array of unique guests covering topics from ghostly spirits to amazing anomalies, covert technology, UFOs, and shadowy global events.
And that's right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Saturdays midnight till 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Let the magic rise.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome, everyone, to Adventures into Reality. This is your host, Andrew Bartzis. Today is going to be a solid reading show. We have not been able to do one of these from the beginning to the end in quite some time. But to let people know, right now, my co-host, Kathy Ma, is now returning from Hong Kong after spending many, many hours in interviewing with a heavy master in feng shui named Master Luck. And we are going to be putting together a very, very special little promo show for people that want to learn about feng shui. And Master Luck has agreed to work with us in a much bigger way. So we're going to be bringing him on the show. And it's going to be really amazing to hear direct from the source, quite literally translated directly by Kathy, of how it works, how feng shui and all the different expressions work. So last week, we also had our time travel webinar, which was just taken off amazing. We had, 480 people sign up for it, and the amount of people that have been sending emails and responses to that has been just really cool. So today is going to be open calls. So if you want to talk about feng shui, you want to talk about what's going on in the modern world, or if you want to have a little session, we're going to try to take as many people as possible in this 2 hours. To remind people, we have breaks at the top in the hour, so it's very, very important everyone turns off their radio. This show is on a delay. So if you are going to be calling in for a conversation with me or whatever iteration that it takes, please turn off your radio. If you are one of those people that likes to walk around on the phone and breathe very, very heavy, please stop that when you're on the radio. We're going to be taking callers 1 or 2 at a time because there's a lot of people that are calling in and hitting redial. If you have called more than a couple times in the last week, please give everyone another opportunity. So if you'd like to call in, 347-688-2902. And I've already got my first caller, 541. Are you there? And 541 hasn't turned off their radio.
Hi.
Hi, 541. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, it's Karen, and I'm calling from Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon. Welcome to the show. What kind of questions do you want to start with today?
So I called last week, and I spoke to you about the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about the shadowed male in the background.
Yes.
And I'd like to get a little bit more information on that.
For people that have no reference of that, you're going to be going into some personal areas. And
okay.
You have to make a determination if you want that to be public. because it does get personal when you're dealing with a shadow male in your frequency. I mean, something's trying to influence you in some way.
Hello?
Oh, I think we lost him for a second. Just give him a minute.
Oh.
Just give him a second. I'm sure we'll get
Sure.
him here shortly.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's just having a little internet problem today. Oh, but let me take care of this quick, because I'm not going to grab another caller just yet until we get Andrew back. He was having problems when I snatched him this morning, so just give him just a second and we'll try to grab him back here.
Sure, no problem.
But when I got him on, grabbed him for the studio earlier, we had a little bit of an issue.
Oh.
I think his internet's playing games with him over there. Like,
And where are you?
I'm actually in Kentucky myself.
Hello, Miss Kentucky.
Hi.
Hi. We seem to be having some internet issues today. So as I was saying, that is a private thing, and you'll have to make a determination if you want to hear that publicly.
Well, I really want to move through whatever the experience is. I'm really ready to let go of that past part of myself.
Okay.
And I want to be free to move forward. I feel like that male happens to be from a past relationship that I've just left about a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was very manipulative and very.
So what I'm going to be talking about, if I go too far, just tell me, please, because you are calling for help. I want to help.
Yeah, and my main question is more about my child.
Well, actually, it is about you right now, because this particular this male person that's in the shadowy figure. So this is the personal side. He is masturbating about you and creating sexual fantasies and projecting them at you to still put you in control. And it has reached a very twisted level right now.
Yeah.
So he has an extreme addiction to using masturbation to control over women. He's one step away from being a voyeur. Okay? So the most important thing for you to understand is before you go to sleep and just after you wake up is where your most important words of power begin. Where the first thing you say before you're going to bed is, there is no manipulation, masturbation, fantasy projections that can come into my reality while I'm asleep or I'm awake. And then you're going to have to use his name, where he's at, you believe his address is, so that you can send a direct information to his higher self saying that you are blocking his frequency from existing and coexisting with you.
Okay.
Until he has reached a point where he can no longer use the masturbation control fantasy. Because what is going on here is his energy is reaching into you and affecting you at the spiritual menstrual cycle level.
Well,
And
I don't have a menstrual cycle anymore.
A spiritual, you do.
Yeah.
You do have the menstrual cycle. It's just you don't bleed this time.
Right.
Okay. So it's affecting you at that level. The next level, it's affecting your child because your child is also experiencing some of these energies.
Right.
Okay. You are the focus, but the child is the sponge.
Right. Right.
Okay. So if I'm going too far, let me know.
No, you're not. And actually, his oldest son stayed here with me after he left, and he took his youngest son with him. So his youngest son just came back, and there has been a lot of stuff around sexuality that has come up with him.
Yes, because he how old is he?
He's 12.
Yeah, so he was exposed to some really nasty pornography.
Yeah.
Which has created a connection to some very nasty entity beings that are occupied on pornographic websites.
Right.
So Did he give him that influence? Yes, he did. Did he make it simple and easy for him to find all of those images as a 12-year-old, and like many other 12-year-old boys go through an awakening, and the next thing they know, they're going through a repetition of a masturbation fantasy that they have no idea about.
Right, right.
So
Absolutely.
he is now attracting energies that are sexual frustration ghosts at a very early age. And this is the curse from the father, because the father is unable to control it and is polluting his environment with it.
Right.
So spiritual hygiene is the most important thing for you, as the individual has to deal with it. And now the other son that is returned, you have to be able to get through to him to understand that he cannot use that form of imagery to create in his mind love, because it is not love. It is not real. Those boobs are fake.
Yeah, when I spoke with him about it, he shrank greatly in his energy when I talked to him about it. So I just told him that, that I loved him and that I'm here for him, and that there are people who want to protect him from that type of energy.
Yeah. So what I can recommend for the 12-year-old, if you have the money to schedule him for someone that can do some form of tissue massage on him and some form of lymphatic drain. Not all masseuses are good at lymphatic drains, and it may be painful for him, but what I understand, when children going through their first masturbatory cycle and creating stuff, they actually, their lymph nodes seize up because they're so excited and they want to hold on to all the energy. So he's had a masturbatory fantasy that took him off into the fantasy world, and it needs to be grounded out.
Okay.
So in changing the diet, if he's acceptable to adding something new to his diet that is heavy fluids, so that he can get a lot of stuff out from that lymphatic drain or deep massage.
Okay.
And you'll have to kind of tell the masseuse to pay attention to his left shoulder and right hand, because his left shoulder is the closest to his head, creating the masturbatory frequency, and then his right hand is what's dealing with the energy. Right. You just tell him, as the massage therapist, he's got some weird thing that he does on the computer, and it's caused something that we need to move the energies out of that.
Okay.
So can you do it yourself? That'll be a choice if you want to engage with that. I would ask a professional to do that.
Yeah, no, I would not. That's not.
Because you're going to be dealing, like I said, with a kid's incredible energies of creation right there that's lost in its fantasy.
Right. Right. Now, is this something that I can help him move through, or is this something that I should just allow the parents to do on their own? Should I step away completely? How do I? Because I've had a really hard time stepping away emotionally. Yeah. And it's been, a very dark year for me. 2015 was very difficult. Yeah. But I do believe that I have so many amazing things to share that I'm trying to, get my energy back up and move forward. I have a lot of amazing things coming to me, and I
see this. I see this. And this is why this child is there. Do you take on the debt or not? Do you see it as a debt? Do you co-create love with it, or do you find do you find an understanding that you something else has to be done, but you're in that state where no one else is really going to do it, right?
Right.
So that means it's not a debt to you, and it's something you do as service to this world.
Well, you were talking about past life stuff and time traveling. And his older brother, when he was with me, said, I had a dream of you, and you took me back in time. and we had a big party here at your house, and everybody that I've ever known was there, but it was only all the good things, and everybody knew that that's what they were there for. And you said to me, I have to go back further and do other things, and you left me there. And I said, wow, that's pretty powerful. What a great dream. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if this is just something that I'm bringing forward to help heal some sort of contractual thing. I'm not really sure.
So I think this is what I call separation of densities for you. You have to make a choice at what level you're going to. Now, the dream you spoke about is what you as the individual being are doing to assist everyone that's around you. You are a dream frequency being right now. Yeah. And that dream frequency being is trying to connect other beings who are half asleep, half awake. At what percentage doesn't matter. Some portion of them is awake. And you're trying to connect their dreaming world into the potential that there is a great change in this world, and that the frequency beings of legend, the mythic beings, can come forth and live and coexist in a reality without war as a control tool of those special beings. And we are in a time where those special beings are out there. Not just the yogis and all the other ones that are all around the world, doing their amazing things, plus, all the other people. There are going to be a next set of people that levitate, people that put their hands on someone and heal them with white light coming out of them. How our world reacts to that doesn't matter. It's you are going to be one of those beings that makes sure the people that are asleep with a little percentage of awakeness start finding the potential that can happen, that all the good stuff is there in a new time. Right. Because we are creating it. We are a collective consciousness right now. And the collective consciousness brought you here to talk to me. And you need to understand that the collective consciousness itself has worked out your problems, but there's still free will here. You have the choice of the scenic route or the incredibly hard and fast and tall roller coaster, or whatever way you want to take it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you to take the scenic route. Enjoy the journey.
I really would like to.
Right? So when it deals with the children, this is the call of the healer and the divine feminine. If he's at an age where you can teach him spirituality, get him a book. Any of them. Okay. Doesn't matter what book. Something that you've read before and can share with them.
Okay.
Even if you have to bribe them one time to read the book. At kids' level, sometimes bribing does work when you introduce them to something and they go, oh my God.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that with my daughter in yoga, and she's not taking the bait.
How old is she?
She's 14.
14. You ever thought about asking her if she learned martial arts?
She has taken martial arts, and she did it for about 2-3 years, and then she decided that she didn't want to do it anymore. So I'm kind of allowing her to decide what works for her, and if she, I would love for her to get back into it, because she actually has been learning Mandarin since first grade, and it's very, very natural for her. And so I got her into martial arts so that she could just keeping that alive, within her, growing all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I've just been allowing her to just kind of decide where she wants to put her energy.
Okay, that's fine. That's part of the process of being a mother. You can't be overbearing, or they just reject everything you say.
Yeah, and she's at that age right now where everything I say is completely wrong.
Yes. So then that is your, let's say, it's window of opportunity to be more focused on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I can suggest is this is the time for you to take, let's just say, your co-creative divine right as a healed healer to see that in yourself.
Right.
You have gotten through so much, just as you said. I'm trying to summarize something for you so that you can take a new form of inspiration and understand that it's time for you to get out there into the world and be seen not as a mother to your children.
Right.
And that
Right.
requires you to train in interpersonal communications, becoming some form of counselor to people that need assistance, however your co-creative divine choice of interaction is.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because we spoke last week about the sound vibrational healing and looking into becoming a midwife.
Yep. So I need to move on to the next caller. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing and allowing a little bit of private information on the air. It's again, I have to make that make a choice right away. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Next caller is 719. Your name and where you're calling from? 719, are you there?
719, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, your name and where you're calling from?
Oh, hi. My name is Hanan. I'm calling from Colorado Springs.
You said, what is your name again?
Hanan.
Kanan?
Hi, Hanan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. What kind of questions do you want to ask?
Well, I just wanted to get your impression on something that's been weighing really heavy on my mind regarding some family issues.
Okay.
I understand it's kind of a public forum right now, but I have just some legal problems that are also the family dynamics that I don't quite understand. And seem kind
Can you come
really hostile.
Can you come a little closer to the phone? It's hard to understand
Yes,
you.
I'll turn off the speaker. I'm sorry, I have a speaker.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see if you could just shed some light on me, because logic is not making sense. And so I thought, well, maybe there's some explanation somewhere else.
Okay, so let me tune into this scenario. All right, so you have a tremendous choice ahead of you, and this is a spiritual contract choice. You said some legal issues have been coming up. What sort of legal issues?
Oh, they're related to my mother passing away, some inheritance issues. And the problem came in between my father and I, where I wouldn't give him power of attorney regarding, my allocation, and seemed to sever the relationship quite a bit, and kind of surprised by that. Or maybe I shouldn't be so surprised, I'm not sure.
Well, this is the spiritual contract choice. Now, is he threatening to take it all away?
There are threats from the standpoint of the relationship. It's not something that he seems to value. And
okay, so let me tune into this scenario. 858, you need to turn off your radio, or we're gonna have to hang up on you. All right, so keep going. All right, so
really regarding, I'm just curious about what the spiritual contract choice may be. I can't seem to, speak to this individual. He's always been very difficult to speak to, all of my life growing up.
Okay. So this is going to be very personal, what we're going to have to get into. So the break is going to be coming up in just a minute. So if you hear music, stay on choice. So when you were born, you have a spiritual contract with your father to actually have this debate argument at the passing of your mother. Your mother was the frequency that was keeping you two beings from fighting each other to the death. And your mother came in with that spiritual contract to act as the go-between so your souls can have a lifetime where you worked out all of the karmic debt between the two of you. And you were supposed to have divine sets of choices that led you on paths where you could co-creatively recognize each other. And now it's reaching the furthest negative part of the contract where he is going to do what he needs to do in his own belief system, and you are going to need to do in your own belief system. And what I'm telling you is you need to walk away from the contract. No matter how much money it is, it's not worth it to take on the battle of continuing this for the rest of this lifetime and into next lifetimes.
Okay.
You have a sordid family. You have a sordid family story. You know, your father wasn't a nice guy. You know, how did he treat your mother?
Not really well either.
Well, there are things that you don't know that he treated her quite badly. All right, that is our music. So please hold on to the line, and after the music, we'll come right back.
Okay.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another extra big-ass fries?
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
Come
trouble.
on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, the shit hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome back, everyone. After our first break, we want to remind everyone, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com is a non-corporate, fully listener-sponsored station. So please stop on by that site support button and support some non-corporate, interglobal intercommunications networks. Thanks a lot, everyone. So, caller, are you there?
Yes, still here.
So as I was saying, this is a scenario you need to walk away from. If it has reached the court level, this is where you have to. This is where you have to make a decision of, do you want to entangle with this person and get ready to have a massive slapback in karma that you created with him hundreds of years ago?
Okay. Could I ask what karma is related to? How do I break it?
Well, let's just say the two of you were members of a court in the Caribbean islands, and there were sailors that would do stuff. They would come into port and they'd rape a woman, kill a person, or they were just framed by somebody else because they didn't want to get their share of the money that was being done in great trade, and it was a false court. So you were the judge and he was the executioner.
Okay.
There came a point where the executioner wanted to become the judge, and ultimately that ended up the judge getting executed.
Okay.
So that's the karma you have each other. Now that it's in the court, it's about the judge and the executioner going after each other. That's how nasty this energy is. And that's why your mother chose a spiritual contract to have you be birthed by him.
I see. Okay, because you spoke a lot. I've been listening to some of your other interviews regarding soul family. And my whole life, I've never been able to actually feel like a connection with them. So
your father's a soul family member, but he's just one of those redneck, hillbilly soul family members that you don't really want at the party. Always angry, never healing himself.
Yes.
This is the big soul choice you have. You know you can't change the man, right?
Yes, I'm not trying to change him. I was trying. He actually is in court with my relatives. That's how it all started. It didn't really start with me. It started with the contract he had with some of my mother's family, and I tried to mediate and bring some peace and bring some logic and bring the family together to avoid court and to preserve whatever relationship. It's possible to preserve the family. And I received a lot of hostility from that. I couldn't get any support from my siblings. So I pretty much feel like I'm on my own with this. And it's really quite a tragedy. But, I'm not trying to change him. I'm also still trying to do what's for his benefit, both emotionally, legally, to preserve, some relationships and support, especially after my mom's passed away. So I'm still trying to bring everybody together. I've spoken with my mother's side of the family. I'm on good terms with them. I have no problem, picking up the phone and, speaking to them, but I cannot seem to communicate with this individual whatsoever. I'm surprised to hear that he is soul family, because I thought soul family had at least some connection, some feelings towards each other.
Well, I think that you're not, any more that you put into this is going to be shot back at you and going to start causing harm.
Okay, so can I permanently break this soul contract with this individual?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And this is the most vital nature of revolution of contract revocations, where you use his name and his frequency of not coming together to create a neutral expression that begins to sever the energetic connections of this lifetime and allows them to be created in the next lifetime.
I see. Okay.
So here's an example. Why don't you just repeat after me, and we can kind of get it set inside you.
Okay.
I, in this ever-present moment, choose to acknowledge my Father, who has reached a level of polarity that has intervolved the courts with my mother's death. I mourn my mother's death, and I mourn my father's loss. I do whatever I can do to bring this family together. And now I have my last choice. In this contract I have with my Father. And I say unto him, until you can let go of the pain and return to the light of forgiveness, I must break all contracts, vows, and agreements. In this ever-present co-creative moment of the now. Because if I do not, I will be entangled with you. And your past life issues. Yet resolved. I am a being of the now. Not of the then. Not of then. I am now.
Not of them. Mm-hmm.
I am now.
I am now.
And with this statement, I bring to you all of my love and healing. May it fill your soul. And this is the last exchange we can have. And the only type of exchange we can have. Until you have changed your polarity. Enough to equally co-create with me. I do not ask for divine intervention. I ask for a sublime intervention. Okay. With this sublime intervention, you will find introspection.
Want me to repeat that?
Yes.
Okay, with this sublime intervention, you will find introspection.
And from there?
Did I lose everyone?
Yes, I think the call dropped.
Okay, yeah, I think we lost Andrew for just a minute. He's been having internet troubles here, so just give it a second. We'll try to grab him back here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been having troubles this morning. I don't know.
That's all right.
Going on in his end there. But we should get him back here shortly. There, he's still a dialing, it's still a trying. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and hang him up here. I'll bring him back on. Yeah, all right. Do we got you now, Andrew? Well, we're not hearing you.
You have someone else on the line, though.
Oh, I do.
Should I hang up?
No. You're good. You're after Noreen. So you'll be the caller after Noreen. We're just having issue grabbing Andrew right now. For some reason, his internet is messing up. But no, stay on because that way you can get your time.
All right, take care.
Yeah, no problem. Just hold on and just stay muted, and you will be right after Noreen. But yeah, Andrew is having issues with his internet. You guys out there, the listeners, just be patient with us. We'll get him on here in just a minute. Do we got you back yet, Andrew? We still can't hear you. I can see you're on, but we're not hearing you. Oh, well, we lost him again. All right, we're trying to grab him again here. Do we got him? All right, we got him now. There you go.
You hear me now? All right.
Here. Well, we did have him. We had you for a second, Andrew.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh my, what an internet day. There must be a cable guy at the end of my street on his lunch break touching wires. Caller, where were we? I'm sorry, we got interrupted.
Oh, that's quite all right.
So I believe I was saying it was the final part of the revocation and I make this choice so that you can make the same choice I do, which is to not exchange negative karma.
Okay. So summarize it. So basically we won't make a choice to exchange negative karma.
Yes, and that's the end of the revocation for you. So that his soul frequency knows you're making a choice that you don't want to exchange this negative karma. And because he's forced the choice itself of negative karma, you're breaking contracts, vows, and agreements and moving on and saying, we can deal with this in another lifetime. I am not going to destroy my life trying to save you. You do have to do some work here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Andrew.
You are so welcome. Okay, we're going to move on to the next caller. And the next caller is Noreen.
Yep.
Hey, Andrew. How are you? I feel better already hearing your voice.
Very, very good. So what did you want to talk about today, darling?
Well, to be honest, I don't tell a lot of people this, but yeah, I've been having a lot of generic fears of the future. I think the basis might be psychic trauma for me, and also, you know, the reality of living, which is money, issues, spiritual, relationship, and so on. And to be honest, I feel like my womanhood, femininity, it's been going on my whole life, has been stomped on, berated, even the sexual aspect of it, just, I don't know, now I'm at the point where I'm seeing it all kind of linked together for some reason, and I don't know. I know there's higher reasons why we have to be tested this way. I get it. You know, you come here to choose on earth or whatever, I don't know, to do these things, but it just, you know, perplexes me, upsets me, and it affects all these areas that I told you in my life, you know. Yeah, that's just part of it. Yeah.
So what is it that you want to ask as a specific question? You kind of made a statement more there.
Well, I mean, what can I do to be on what I think is I think I'm on my right path. People tell me I am. Psychics tell me whatever I am, I'm on the right path. Okay, don't worry, you are. I just want to, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right practices? I feel like I go by my instinct, and my instinct doesn't, my instinct seems to fit me. You know, when I listen to my own voice, that fits me. Other people trying to project their ideas and their suggestions for me, no, and I don't feel that.
I will say this, you're on the right path, but there is something you need to deal with, and it's kind of a personal scenario. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going too far, you simply just have to let me know, and it is going to be dealing with your sexuality and the lack of orgasms you've had in the last 10 years.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, and you have to find out why you're stopping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And this will come to the parasympathetic teaching. Are you familiar with the sympathetic and parasympathetic body?
You know, I took biology classes, so far as biological terms, yeah, but in terms of if you take it to the metaphysical or whatever, maybe not as clear.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, Galactic Historian, you'll see a video on DNA Advanced and DNA 1 and 2, and I explain what the spiritual significance of the parasympathetic. It's about 4 hours of conversation between me and one of my co-hosts, Natalie, who's an amazing person that's recovering from a very injured neck right now. But It'll go very in depth, but long story short, your parasympathetic side has control over your mystical powers, and its purpose is to connect to your entourage of angelic beings and self-created light body beings to resolve energy exchange between all the other shared reality rule beings that you're dealing with. And after a while, the parasympathetic becomes a bunch of programs that believes it's alive and the I am presence is not a part of it. And it tries to actively take over and take experiences away from us. The purpose of that parasympathetic was to be our contrast control. So when we control the amount of light and dark coming in and of our light, like a little dimmer switch, we can chart our own course. Well, the parasympathetic has the dimmer control in your light frequency energy and is keeping you on a low spark right now. And one of those low sparks, it has kept many very powerful orgasms from yourself and from any other way that it comes from actually happening and actually activating your kundalini so it shoots out the tips of your toes and head.
Yeah, the irony is, if you're right, it's interesting you said 10 years, because before 10 years ago or whatever, I didn't have this issue, but it has been. Right. And I was thinking, is it more just, women's hormones? That's the natural.
No. This is the little girl in you who grew up as a psychic sponge around a whole bunch of psychic projectors.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what was life like growing up?
Yeah, I do.
So the little sponge, who's this on-air radio personality now, is in a scenario where the young life has trained the parasympathetic like a racehorse to do things faster than you can do because they have access to the mystical side.
Can you reiterate again who has access to the mystical side?
Your parasympathetic body.
Oh, okay.
That is the subconscious side that operates through the vagus nerves and all of that other stuff, that the phalangic valve nerves and all the things that are the involuntary side of the DNA skin suit.
Okay.
Okay, the I am, which is you, that goes through the awaken and sleep process, has the sympathetic and the parasympathetic as, let's just say, main operating systems. The operating system itself is not aware. But after a while, you've given it so much energy, it thinks it's aware. You understand that? But it really isn't. And this is where the ego flares up. And it's not that your I am ego is flaring. It is your internal ego trying to deflate you and take away power from you so that you only run the programs you created at a young age. For you, this is what the shamans call the shaman's death, where you are letting go of the old in a cyclical format and making sure with the teachings that you know in your heart of heart that you are not just scratching the surface, but acknowledging at the deepest layers how you grew up, how you grew into your early life, your teen life, your midlife, going through your whole story so you can discover the choice points in your time where you shut down these energies. Where you shut down your ability to be fully in the body.
I see.
Okay. So one more thing here is, if I'm going too far, let me know, is you are going to have to test yourself on an orgasm.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You're not going too far because I'm at the point in my life where anything that's constructive for me is fine. So even if it's on the air, like, believe me, I've come to that point where it's
okay. I'm just making sure because I don't want to put anyone in a scenario. Well, then you need to go ahead and get a masturbation tool. Your fingers aren't going to work.
Well, I think maybe what I need to do though is do those, like, watch those videos first and everything before because I'm thinking, there's going to be differences in the body before and after those types of transformations, and
yes, but again, you'll run into those sympathetic parasympathetic teachings. It'll take you many weeks to process really what it is, because it is all of you. It's the part that's recording your experience, and then after a while, we're such powerful souls. We're up into the astral world doing all of other things, and we leave programs or luggage here, and the luggage isn't you. The luggage is just running the body while you're off doing whatever. And then when we all are like butterflies and unicorns and come back to our body and want to bring rainbow light everywhere, and the body doesn't want to work, it's not happy, it's always angry, it doesn't give you this, it's always hungry for something that's making you fat.
I've been dealing pretty well with food and weight issues in the last year or two. I will say that, but
Right? But emotional issues, it's the strings that are inside that the parasympathetic will play like a guitar. And you've got to retune the guitar so that the parasympathetic can't play a tune when it's not supposed to.
So I'm kind of feeling when I do this, maybe those things we talked about, different areas of my life, even spiritual, money, or relationships might improve just because the energy is different. I'm thinking maybe.
Well, yes, anytime you make changes in yourself, what's around you comes into a form of change. But this comes back to understanding you are deprogramming part of yourself, and then you have to immediately reprogram it so it doesn't revert back to the old programs. And the deprogramming and reprogramming come down to contract revocation and invocation. So this is going to call for a ritual time of 20 or 30 days where you use the existing contract revocations, specifically the one that's the shaman's death. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not.
So what you can do is write to Tenoch at galactichistorian.com. Tenoch, and he can get you a copy of that, or you can just go to my website and subscribe to the monthly newsletter thingy that we have, and it'll give you all on the contract revocations tab. You'll be able to download all of them, and one of them is known as the shaman's death, and it's an out loud verbal process that assists you in acknowledging what is in your process of cyclically shedding old skins.
Okay.
Because that's what you're going through right now is like the snake shedding of a skin. But you're really going to shed between now and the middle of March probably 10 different skins.
Wow.
So you are going through a huge awakening, and this is why the sexual concept has come up with you, because it is the most important thing for you to conquer. All the other stuff is ancillary, is minor.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yes.
Even this spiritual connection I have with this man right now, he's healing me.
He is. I'm saying you've done good work and it's repaid, and now the final process is to deal with the body that's just a spoiled brat in its own perspective right now, thinking it's the experience, and it isn't. And you have to take its power away and say, I am the soul. I am the being of the now that experiences it. You aren't.
Right. Right. And I think that's even causing the problem between me and these gaps of making money, like I said, spiritual, the relationship, the whole thing,
Exactly. You have it 100% right.
Well, I mean, I even think the person I'm talking about might be like a twin flame maybe, or a soulmate even. I know this sounds crazy, but I do, because I never felt such healing. But then I think other people say, oh, they look at it conventionally and go, just forget about it. I'm like, no, you don't get it. There's a healing there, plus it's about me as a person as well. It's not just about, this external stuff.
Right. So when it comes to this person, they are completing what I call soul circuitry.
Oh.
So is he a twin flame? My definition of twin flame is completely different than the rest of the world. So for me, a twin flame is two souls that are coming together to leave all other soul family structures and to make a brand new soul family in which they will invite special beings to live in the lineage. And then when you die, you'll be reborn into that new soul family. So are you doing that? No. Are you more closer to the modern term of twin flames? No. You are both on the same spiritual path, and you're going to get the same spiritual gifts, one from a feminine perspective and one from the masculine perspective. And then when you both become masters of your own gifts, you're going to train each other how to be the opposite completely. And this is where your relationship will change greatly, because you will teach people about sexual health as the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine.
Yeah, I feel like he has he has something to do with me and him, because how we connected was on that principle mystically. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the synchronicities, but there were amazing synchronicities about just that between me and him. So I think there was something about that.
Yes, and that is the universe and the system of the earth going, it's time for you guys to do this. You created this plan in the astral world. All right, you're all grown up now. Here's your chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess these terms like soulmate, twin flames, soul groups can be confusing. People, I guess we shouldn't focus on the terms. It's more how we see it energetically, maybe, and the goals and the mission.
Right. So now the next thing that I'd like to bring up with you is you have a tremendous amount of money being blocked from you right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a word that set of words you may have not heard before. Zealot humanitarian.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
I don't give away too much money to people. I mean, I help people with stuff that I want to get rid of that's in good shape. I go, oh, you want this? But I don't really
No.
lend
This
people
is
money.
This is you not getting energy exchange for you doing what it is that you do.
Oh, I see.
So that is the break. Just hold on a second, and we'll be back with you right after the break. Everyone, hold on. We'll be right back.
Listening to Revolution Radio.
Listen in on Mondays, 8 Eastern Time on Revolution Radio for Journeys with JP. With a variety of guests, each giving their perspective on their journey into the now. Join me and my guests Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Revolution Radio Studio B.
Some more speed records in this day and age. You need coverage.
Coverage? Oh, you mean them little root weevils that crawl around popping off cameras in your face?
Those root weevils write history.
Many of you know that quote by Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Well, you can, and Event Horizons will give you those truths. So when you're mad as hell and not going to take it anymore from that memorable scene network, you'll know just what to do. We will draw you in and become your news addiction at Event Horizons. Join us Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at freedomslips.com at Revolution Radio. Our world team members are Dennis Fetcho, John Ilias, David Dunger, Hyla Cass, MD, Melanie Richton, Jim Mars, Paula Harris, John Trallo, Maria Payan, Christopher Husser, DODDS, Jonathan Orchard, and me, your anchor, Dr. Robin Falco.
If you decide not to volunteer, it will not be held against you in any way.
Sounds dangerous.
It is.
Very dangerous. Count me in.
And that's right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps.
Wadiya will remain a dictatorship. Or be quiet. Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests.
Tune in Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Liberation Nation with Deacon John, where America comes to hear the truth.
I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try.
Is your data safe? Do you have the necessary information to assist you in confidently living through just about any survival situation? Is survival and gardening, off-grid living, medical knowledge, or even natural or man-made EMPs on your list of personal concerns? Do you have your documents and your personal information in a safe place in your hands where you know where it is? Well, check out our preloaded EMP-proof thumb drive. Over 3 gigs of survival documents and how-tos, plus the USDA offline food preservation website, and much, much more, including a surprise bonus we just can't tell you about here. With plenty of room left over to store your most important documents. Imagine if a megavirus or a computer failure took out your bank, or all the banks for that matter. Are your banking records safe in your hands? So when they get things fixed and repaired, you can say, hey, look, this is what I had. You have it. I want it back. Is your personal data safe? Family records, addresses, phone numbers? Well, squeeze on over to freedomslips.com. Yes, that's www.freedomslips.com. Click the banner on the homepage for the EMP-proof bullet drive to get the full scoop of everything that we offer. So, folks, keep your data safe for your peace of mind. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another extra big-ass fries?
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
Come
trouble.
on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener-supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, the shit hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What do we do in life? It goes in eternity.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome back, everyone, on the next hour. So we are, Noreen, are you there? Noreen, are you there?
I was muted. Sorry, I'm back.
It's okay. So We were talking about your money being blocked before, and I used the two words together, zealot humanitarian. And right away, there has to be a deeper understanding. What it is you are giving away more than you are receiving in exchange. And this is what is blocking your sexuality. You're not giving back to yourself the same value of what's going out. You are giving away far too much. There needs to be a fair energy exchange in your business, in your work life, in your sexual life, in your home life, in your social lives, in your so on and so forth. So you need to see the side of you that is giving away too much energy, not material things.
I think I've been noticing that in the last year and a half, and I've been trying to actually curb that,
Yeah. And this is, I think, the most important thing along with the sexuality for you to work on. They're the two most important things between now and the next equinox, which is in March 21st to the 23rd. I think if you put some solid self-contemplation and some solid problem-solving and progressive understanding of your sexuality and how much energy you're giving out and save a lot of it for yourself so that you can have, let's just say 3 or 4 days where you can let down and all of a sudden a whole new stream of energy is going to come to you. Think of it like an accountant who's got all these payments to go out, but they also know there's payments coming in that should outmatch what's going out. But every time they do the books, it doesn't look like that.
I see what you mean. Like I was saying, in the last year or two, though, I've really rearranged and slowed down my personal schedule for I think this might be subconscious, like I'm, slowing down in many areas. I mean, like all areas of life, I've been slowing down. So I'm hoping that's helping too, so that it's not, yeah.
Well, I think this is all about your job and the way you make money.
Yeah, that's always been sporadic since the, what do you call it, the recessions. But that's, that's part of, that's one area. I bet I've slowed down in that in many areas, yeah.
So what do you do for a job now?
Well, I have a few. I tutor English, I do massage, and I work for my friend.
Okay.
So,
how much massage do you actually do in a month?
No, I haven't been doing lately as much as I did, say, a decade ago. I was full force a decade ago. And since the recession, that's slowly kind of changed or morphed, transformed as far as my client load.
Okay. Where are you living now?
Southern California.
Okay. Is it a big city?
Orange County, like on the edge of OC and Long Beach.
I'm going to make a bold statement that you should almost even consider eliminating whatever else you're doing that's making money and go full force into massage for 6 months. Get cards, go back into that mode.
Oh, I got new cards a few months ago, by the way.
Good. Part of your subconscious has heard it. It is more of the reminder of the force that you worked 10 years ago. And this is why you want to do this for a period of 6 months. Because then when you're done, you're going to get a choice and go, there's money there. I can hire someone to take my place when I need to do a radio show or begin to do interviews or something that pays you back for your time on the radio. I think it's vitally important that you see that the only thing that's blocking you on money right now is yourself. You need to accept your gifts in energy exchange. You have all these energy gifts waiting for you, but you're not accepting them. It's like presents under the tree and Christmas is long over and you haven't opened them yet. Or even looked at them.
I don't know. It's been hard to restart this. I mean, I got the massage cards and all that, but it's been a little bit hard to restart it for some reason, but yeah.
So what massage did you learn?
Well, that's another thing. I wanted to expand my knowledge in it. I do like Swedish shiatsu, a little bit of sports. I have a really good touch, and that's what I always base my clients on. I'm not overly into fancy super skills, but I do catch some of those, and use them. But yeah.
So there's have you ever heard of craniosacral therapy?
I have, yeah.
You could go and take the first class in that so that you get refueled with a new knowledge to go back and treat in a different way.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you, you should be making $150 an hour with your hands.
I used to at times. So that's
You're that good. I see who you are. I do. I see all these lifetimes which you've done this before, and it's absolutely natural for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you do on the radio that's not paying you back? There's such this, and I'm looking in your field and I see this misbalance. Great misbalance. It's like you've given out so much, but nothing came back from it.
Well, I mean, I enjoy doing the show, and I have friends on here, and I get a lot. I mean, I like it, but I don't know.
Why don't you think about this? That you make a product that you put on your own website that is for $5,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 2 or 3 hours of you giving all of the information you want to give. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, even 99 cents, doesn't matter. You need that form in your life now, even if it's 99 cents coming back to you,
Mm-hmm.
because that 99 cents means far more in the actual energy than its value rated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
You know, speaking of getting rid of the energy, giving away too much energy, in the last few years, I've also cut out a lot of toxic people as well. I mean, you know, I can sense now who's healthy for me and who's not, and I've done that. So I think it's just a matter of healing.
Yeah, it's the habit pattern where you know you needed to cut them out, but you still have the habit pattern of giving energy away because you had so many toxic people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is redirecting to yourself. So for a period of a few months of the year, the universe has, can just like UPS drive up your road without a door code and give you energy and will drive away.
Do you feel, do you feel like I'm feeling the people around me now I'm looking at them energetically and they seem okay for me. I mean, you know, as far as being helpful, they help me in areas like suddenly when unexpected. So I'm feeling the people around me now are better than say like a few years ago.
They are, but there's ultimately going to come to the next choice of this man that you've met, so on and so forth, that you're going to be in a scenario where you're going to outgrow a lot of these people really fast. And that's another part of you that's trying to instinctively hold you back. You don't want to let them go yet. Because 10 years ago, you were so focused in that, you wouldn't have been doing a radio show.
Right. But I think this young man, he has helped me to let go and redirect my energy to higher level.
I believe that too. But there are some things you have to do on your own. So whatever work he does on you is far more effective.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, I'm kind of glad that you see a positive connection between me and him, even for the future, even though, whatever, because some negative people will tell me, oh, don't, but I'm thinking, no, I'm feeling positive about him and, these new connections. So healing, a lot of healing.
Again, you always have to be able to look internally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You have to be able to look internally. You also have to look at yourself. How much are you giving him and how much is he returning to you? And understand that at some level, you have to judge it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We always say do not judge, but a self-judgment of the exchange for value is one of those fine lines between neutral and truth.
Well, for example, with him and people like him, I do feel like a sort of rebirth,
Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other kind of questions you want to ask?
No, I feel like, the rebirthing with these new people was really important because it's a new energy for me I've never dealt with. And I was really happy to encounter it. And so I guess, I'll just work on, like you said, I'll look at those DNA things. I think I'm okay for now. Maybe I'll update you a little bit later again sometime.
Remember, you're going to have to practice the sexuality thing on your own and find out, and literally ask yourself in the moment, why am I not doing this?
Right.
What's stopping me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's your own self-contemplations. Only you know. I can point in directions and show you stuff from the Akashic Record, but until you process actually why you're not giving it to yourself, and then ultimately allowing others to give it to you in a divine co-creative sacred bond sexuality, where it shoots through the tips of your fingers and your toes for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's why I was thinking about looking into Tantra yoga and stuff too.
Kundalini yoga, Tantra yoga, yes. I think if you were to explore some of those, that you'd really have to be in the massage energy so that you could truly process the energies, because you are not processing the energies like you were when you were a massage therapist. You aren't.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You're far lower in frequency than you were then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. That's just, when you're working on people all the time, you have to be high frequency.
I was at that time.
And now it's time for you to cycle yourself back up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Whoever joins you on the journey is meant to join you.
Okay.
The Noreen train is loading up. Everyone get on the tracks or goodbye.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, darling. Have a really good day.
You too. Thank you, everybody. Shannon and Andrew and everyone. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the next caller. 250, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's Vera from Salmon Arm, BC.
Oh, welcome to the show, Vera. What kind of questions do you want to ask today?
Well, a couple of questions. One, is it a good time now for me to move? Because I have someone that really wants to move, but I'm very hesitant. But, I don't know if it's the fear that's holding me back.
What year were you born?
58.
Where were you born?
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. That's Midwest.
I know right where it's at. The answer is absolutely yes, it's time for you to move.
Really?
Yes. And what is holding?
I don't want to.
I know. What's holding you back is you don't want to go. But there is a spiritual calling, a higher frequency energy that is asking you to change whatever it is that you're doing so that your next level of spiritual gifts can come to you. Because right now, the ancestral energies that are holding you where you're living right now have taught you everything they could possibly teach you. And that you need to go and find your next teacher so that you can become a teacher of teachers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I need someone to send money. That's all I can say, because I'm like, it's kind of a setup. When you move, if you don't have cash on hand, it's a scary thing, right? Like I own my home outright.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right. You can sell that home and get yourself a rental somewhere else and have to learn how to get over that I don't own a home anymore, but I have to deal with this cash thing. And that's ultimately the choice that's stopping you. I mean, what are you doing?
I don't trust the banking system. They could crash the market any time.
They're not going to. I'm going to tell you, they're not going to crash the market.
They're not.
They're not. They're making too much money on it right now. Everybody's still believing the propaganda right now. There's a presidential election coming up. All the propaganda is going to show that. I'm the person that's going to tell everyone nothing's going to happen tomorrow. No martial law, no collapse of the bank, no World War III. It's all just a sequel for the news.
They should be sued for all the fear that they create.
Right.
And a lie.
I agree. But suing means nothing because there's no remedy in the courts.
I know.
It is a true organic revolution of the mind, no longer accepting the rules being enforced upon us by Big Brother. To tell Big Brother, you're not my brother. You're not even real. You're just a creation we created, and I'm going to uncreate you in my life.
Yeah.
That's what revolution means.
Okay, so do you know, are you Canadian or are you American?
American, born in Cleveland, Ohio, 1974.
Ah, so you're a young man.
Yeah, I am 41, about to be 42. So what is it that you've done for a job over the years?
I haven't done anything, basically. I've done just work around the house, gardening. I cared for my friends' children.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, not too much. I managed property.
Hello?
Okay. Yep. You manage properties. So now this other place that you were thinking, you know, somebody's been asking you to move to, what is the opportunity there?
Well, one thing is to get off the grid and maybe to be a little more financially solvent, you know. That's my fear. If they crash the market, what's the big deal of having money on hand, you know, if it's going to become valueless, you know, because in 2007 I wanted to move, and I even made a move towards moving, and then it fell through, but I was actually happy in several ways because they did crash the market. Of course, it didn't really affect Canada, but the place I was going to move to, they had done mining up in behind that property, and so the mining poisoned the well, you know. But I really loved that property. It was close to a brother of mine. I liked the area. So some things, you know, I was really quite upset about, but are you there?
I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out how to help you understand what this move away from the town you're living in now is going to mean for you. And I understand that you have your concerns about the way the world is going, but ultimately you're in a scenario where you have a very, very intelligent soul that has given you a set of spiritual gifts that can repay you in a monetary value. And right now, the only way you're using these gifts is by observing the world, by doing your gardening, by assisting in raising children, so on and so forth. But in that individuated story of you is a story many, many other people need to hear, because you have self-educated yourself by the shows that you've listened to, by the books that you've read, by the teachings you've given other people's children, that this needs to be summed up in your own voice, in your own words, written on paper and ink and printed and so on and so forth, so that you as the individuated being see the great journey you've made. Because your journey is the journey of a soul family member. What it took to survive in this world, what it took to understand this world, what you want everyone else in your age group and other generations of other age groups to understand about this world. You're meant to be a writer. You're meant to be a public speaker. And now it's the universe saying, if you give yourself the chance and move away from this old energy with the direct intent of, I'm going to go someplace to make a creation that's for this world, that it's my service to take my genius and my knowledge and my wisdom and to put it into format that people can learn from, so that the teachers of this world step forward and start teaching people how to be healers of themselves. We are on a pathway to teach a people to be a 1 billion healers out there, whether it's people healing people about money or healing people about cancer or healing people with knowledge and perspective that co-creates knowledge, so there are no more secrets from our people.
Yeah, I agree. You're not the first person to tell me to write a book on my life, but I wouldn't know where to start. I guess I could ask for help that way.
It starts, you know? I was born on this date, and here's where my perspective begins. I may not remember everything, but by the time I get up to the present moment of my age now, I'll have a story that somebody else needs to read.
Yeah, there may be truth to that. One thing I wanted to ask you, am I creating more negative karma for myself, because I'm very assertive, and when it comes to things that are happening in this world, I've been like emailing government officials and stuff like that, because and poking at them because I see all the harm that they're doing. So now, am I creating harm for myself in the future?
The answer is yes and no. Whenever you poke the dragon, sometimes it farts in your general direction or it ignores you.
Mostly they ignore me.
Okay? So the thing is, are you worried about a dragon fart?
Well, I don't want to have harm come to me by poking at it. I want to help to make changes, know.
And by stopping poking the dragon and start writing about the dragon that you poked previously. So this, once again, is to motivate people to poke their own individual dragons enough times to realize that it's a dragon. Okay? So the answer is yes and no. You will create negative karma if you go into polarity and get too frustrated over one subject, and you put in some lines there that can be observed in a weird perspective as a threat when it was never meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay? So you got to remember, some human being is reading that email on the other side.
Oh, definitely.
And you're not attacking the human being at all because it has no choice. It's a government slave.
Yeah.
It means nothing to them, but it still harms them. So you have to write letters to the system instead of an individual being. If you really want to poke the dragon the right way and not have to worry about dragon farts. All right, that is our music break. Hold on, and we're going to come back to you right after the break.
Okay.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fan. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio, taking the confusion out of transmutated lunar girdle springs for 4 years and running. Revolution Radio, the #1 listener-supported alternative media radio on the planet.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another extra big-ass fries?
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
Come
trouble.
on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener-supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, the shit hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
And welcome back, everyone. Caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So what's the next kind of question that you want to ask?
Well, that one was the karma. Oh, one more thing. Are you aware of that we're paying a tax on almost all products that are for? It's a Jewish thing, like that they've got a special tax that's on almost every product. Now, is it worth my while to bug the different businesses to let them know that this is unfair to the rest of the public?
No. I think you're going to find yourself in a situation that the more you starting to affect the local businesses and not do your own business, that more negativity is going to come back to you, because somebody has to receive that information and go through polarity. And because you're sharing information in polarity in not a way that has the proper context, you're going to be creating more frequencies of negativity that are negative repayments.
Okay, so it's not a good thing.
No. I mean, the dragon's a little different. When I was saying poking the dragon, now you're rabble rousing. And if you're going to be a rabble rouser, you need your manifesto.
What does that mean?
It means your book, your autobiography, whatever it is that you're going to create. You need that so that if they want to find out about more than just how many different ways they're being screwed from Sunday. Because you could probably come up with 30 or 40 other things.
Oh, yeah.
So you need that support if you're going to be a rabble rouser. You need that solid thing that you created that says, all right, everyone, you need to see through the bull poopy and understand you got a world here that's taxing you every way from Sunday, going at you every way from Sunday, doing whatever it can do to take its share of yours.
Yeah.
Okay? And then it also is going to have to, you're going to have to take a look at your spirituality and really understand that you need to have something that is another source of energy input than it is fighting the system and being the warrior that you are. You know, so that's going to remind you of what it took to raise children, you know, how to be in a specific frequency that isn't about what you're doing now.
Yeah, because this has been bringing more anger to me.
Right.
You know, so it's not helping me spiritually for sure, unless I get a result. If I get a result that it makes changes, well then, you know, you feel uplifted by it, right? I mean, if you know what I mean, on a bigger scale.
Yeah. But right now, you need to give yourself other energy. You need to take a break from what it is that you're doing so that you can create something that makes that part of your life far easier.
Okay.
You need to really seriously think about writing the book, whatever it's going to turn out to be. You know, it can be an old fictional story that shows the entire way the system is corrupt, from the courts to the taxes to the Congress, etc.
Yeah.
A tale of political corruption that uses everything you've learned from every show you've ever learned, from every different angle. You could throw it all in there like a Dan Brown book.
Yeah.
Instead of the Da Vinci Code, you can call it the Winnipeg Code. Why we're all getting screwed in the bum by the government.
Yeah.
Give it comedy.
Okay,
Give
well,
it dark comedy.
Do you see anything else that I should be doing other than that? Because, you know, I get great joy from gardening and that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I do get joy from being in public, but I have my reservations there, you know.
Again, that's publicity is one thing. How would you feel about living in a place that you could grow year round?
Well, yeah. If I had the money, I could, you know, like build a greenhouse that, you know, and they have the hydro that we're not getting socked to it.
Mm-hmm.
See, but I fought so hard. We've got this smart meter thing, okay, which is a Wi-Fi system that I don't know if you know about it.
I know exactly what it is. I've done shows on it. It's very nasty.
Very nasty. So I fought BC Hydro left, right, and center, and, well, as have many others, but at least I don't have that meter on my home, you know? And I'll tell you, we had to kind of fight tooth and nail with these guys, you know? Because when they want their way, boy, they want their way, even though they're cheating you and harming you. You know, so that the next place I move to, if they've got a stupid smart meter, unless I've got the funds to take that stupid thing off and then be totally...
Then make sure wherever you're moving to doesn't have one in already.
Yeah.
There you go. Simple as that. You need to put into your potential it's time to move to a place you can grow year-round so you can change your signature frequency into someone that's manifesting from their genius knowledge, kind of how the world works, to set up a frame for it that is either read or studied or somehow so that you can be far more effective in your job of being the Paul Revere of your neighborhood. Because you're not just a Paul Revere of your neighborhood or friends. You're far more than that. You are a person that needs to begin to see that. And you are a person that needs to see that your spirituality is an equal co-creation in your life, because it is ultimately what's funding the time for you to talk about poking the dragon and writing letters and reading about different things. So one of the concepts you can take into a thing is called spiritual hygiene. And this is where you regularly sage your house and you begin to read a form of contract revocations. Have you seen those on my website, or have anyone ever showed you those?
No.
It is at a time where I did a tremendous amount of law and sovereignty shows. And the law and sovereignty concept and the spiritual concept met one day, and I came up with a revocation for government, banking, and media. And it's an out loud affirmation that says you are breaking contracts, vows, and agreements with government, banking, and media. And it goes into some very in-depth concepts that are both spiritual and 3D matrix. So you can go to my website, galactichistorian.com, and look under the Give section, and you'll see thing for revocations. And if you just put in your email there, you'll get a whole bunch of different ones that are all about government, banking, media, masculine and feminine. And these things are meant to be read out loud.
Okay.
And these are positive affirmations that essentially takes the dragon we were talking about and denies it the ability to exchange energy with you, denies it the ability for it to store energy in you, which is negative karma. It breaks any agreements that says you'll be in creation with it, with taxes, etc., etc. It says that you do not believe in mass media, propaganda, the manipulation of money, or the writing of the laws that take away our divine freedom and choice. And it's an affirmation that you make out loud each and every day. And that's the revocation part. And then the invocation part is what you are replacing the void space you've created by the revocation, where you're saying, I am dedicating myself to truth, justice, and the understanding of how to explain to the rest of the world how we're being screwed from 7 ways from Sunday. Which is your divine choice to say, I'm going to teach this world through my acts of action.
Yeah.
Okay? The world doesn't get anything done without the doers, the movers, and the shakers. And you're one of the doers, movers, and shakers. And you need to change the scale that you're working on.
Yeah, instead of writing the odd email and showing that I'm really angry.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
whether they look at it or not, they still kind of our politicians here, they send emails hoping that I'll send money because they know I've sent them emails. They don't acknowledge anything that I've said.
Exactly, because it's an autoresponder. That's not a real person.
Yeah.
So
it's like what, in the wind, eh? It's
so what do you think of the election of Trudeau to Canada?
You know what? My brother was mentioning several months prior, maybe 6 months prior to any of the election stuff or any of that, Harper had called Trudeau Minister Trudeau, called him minister. And so, why would he call him Minister Trudeau if that was not already the plan that Trudeau is going to be our next prime minister? Because the NDP and Tom Mulcair, they had a lot more votes, like a lot more people following them and for them.
Right.
Just
and
like people
Bush
knew they wanted they knew they wanted the Conservatives out no matter what,
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
just
don't know now whether it was cheated in. I actually worked for Elections Canada, and there's definitely no cheating going on where I worked.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as him being in, sorry, being in, oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
Okay, I'll let you say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as him being in, it is the similar scenario where Bush stole the election in 2000 here in the United States to put the neocons in power. The positive faction that's putting Trudeau in place stole the election from the negative faction. But the negative faction is still elected officials that the positive faction has to expunge. So Trudeau's actually going to have a very limited effect on any of the Canadian politics, because now you're talking the little fiefdoms and kingdoms that are going to be dismantled by a new organization.
Okay. Yeah, so even though spiritually he is trying to do good,
right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so he's coming from a good place. And
yes,
he does seem that way, but
he must do bad things to bad people. Will he stay on the right course? That's what every government is facing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Disassembling the corruption and the kingdoms that have been created by courts.
Yeah.
The courts still hold the power over the government right now. That's what so many people don't realize. That's why there is no remedy in any court in any part of the world. And for anyone to believe there is any form of remedy in the court, and this is coming from a person who studied law and sovereignty at the highest levels, it's a crock. It's impossible to get any remedy from a system. Impossible. It has been created that way.
Yeah, well, I just heard something about a guy. They actually announced it on the news, so there's a reason they show it there. But he fought the our revenue. That they said that he owed them $1 million. Then they went after, he actually lost $4 million. Over 20 years, he's been fighting back. The courts finally, they gave him something saying that they can't do this anymore, but he still owed them $10, and they didn't give him any money back. So, he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, but you're battling
and yet he put all that energy. Pardon me?
You're battling a court where there is no remedy. Anytime you go under the court, you're under their ritualism. You're under their symbolism. You're under their rules, which they can change at any moment in time on you.
Yeah, so we got to make changes.
Yes, but you can't make changes with the court. That's the thing. You can only make changes by telling the court that it's no longer a valid court and that you're going to make new courts.
Yeah.
And until there is a groundswell of a movement to make new courts that have their proven authority by the studied, learned people of the land, so that they can say that all the other existing courts are in not good faith, are acting in poor standard, are not adhering to any rules of the land, but are putting people under administrative power and causing slave scenarios.
Yeah.
That's a truth we have to accept about our courts.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
So I have got to move on to the next caller, but this
okay,
is
thank
really
you very,
fun.
very much.
Yes, you have a really good day. So
you too.
The next caller is going to be 573. Are you there?
Yes, Andrew. This is Josh from St. Louis, Missouri. How are you?
Very good, Josh from St. Louis, Missouri. What kind of questions do you want to ask today?
Just two quick things. One, I had these lumps in my body, and I got some of them checked out a while ago with the doctor, and they said they were fatty tumors, non-cancerous or something. But the one in my leg and one in my right side, they have flat edges on them and a rounded center. So I was curious if there's any chance that they could be an implant.
I'll tell you right now, it's a fatty tumor. But as soon as you said flat, it's a fatty tumor. Now, if an implant was there previously and that grew around it, that's a different question. And the answer is yes. There were implants in there, but they were removed.
Okay.
And they were actually removed right around March 2015. So if you can remember what you were doing and what was going on in you March 2015, is where you realize this is where they were inserted in you, and they were there less than 6 weeks. So we look at that time frame of what was going on in your life, and their individuated purpose of those particular implants was to limit you on how much sunlight you were going to be taking in, because you were at a point where your soul frequency was going to go really high about April 1st to April 3rd, 2015, and you would have had a chance to connect to your higher soul and transmute a tremendous amount of spiritual karma. Basically, you would have woke up one morning and had this tremendous relief that something just changed in the world, and you would have gone about making great changes in your life. But that ultimately didn't happen.
Yeah. So who put, or how did they get there? Or do you know? Or
well, the first thing we have to understand is everyone in the world has implants in them. It's a matter if they manifest in the physical, because they can teleport an implant into anything, even a plant, and they do that. And because we have a Big Brother grid, they are constantly looking for beings through their Big Brother scanning system for things that have a genetic potential of absorbing sunlight in such a way that it creates a higher frequency spirit connection. And these implants just get teleported in you at a moment before a good solar storm is coming and to make changes. And this is how they are subtly controlling the awakening in our world. So it isn't you as the individual being that was targeted. It is the soul frequency and the solar energies that are coming to this planet. They were making sure that you didn't have enough spark to create with it. They just like a motor and an engine. If you don't have spark, power going to the spark plugs to turn it over, nothing's going to happen.
it sounds like another system of domination and control.
It's just one of the individual parts of it that make up the whole system of Big Brother's interaction with us and forced quantum entanglement.
Wow. So, I mean, is there a certain race where that technology originated from, or?
So individuated to you in this scenario, this would be a government application, but not a single form of American, Canadian, or etc. It is the esoteric government that runs everything. That is, it's the master control system. And
as far, go ahead.
And there's all the ancillary management systems. So America is an ancillary management system. Germany's an ancillary management system. And there's only a handful of people in those organizations that are connected to the dynasties that run this world. And it's the dynasties that are using this technology of implanting and limiting our ability to absorb sunlight and go through frequency changes.
And as far as actually getting into the body, like some kind of nanodust or particles?
Now, literally think of Star Trek teleportation at a microcosmic level, where they can put one thing in a part of your energy body that will create a blockage. Because all they need to do is create one blockage in one of your yin well springs or your yang yell springs in acupuncture expressions, and your whole body will not be able to absorb anything. It's like putting a ping pong in somebody's gas tank.
Wow.
Okay, and then when they're done, they teleport it back out and put it into someone else.
Wow, it's amazing. The technology is just amazing, I guess. But yeah, all right. So the other quick thing is, it's kind of more of a grand scale question. What is the origin of awareness itself?
I have not been asked that question, actually. The origin of awareness itself stems from the very first universe that created awareness. So we are in the 17th rung of universal expression. So we're a string of universes in a double helix format going from 1 to 17. And we're about to create an 18th universe. So whatever is resolved here on Earth is going that which can't come to remedy and resolve will leave this universe and go and create another one. So awareness itself began in the very first universe, where all the other universes had their own expression of what was what. And when our first universe of existence came into being, its individuated purpose was to give individual awareness to the most micro beings that the macro being exists and has an interpersonal relationship with them. So our form of awareness came in the first rung of the ladder of the universe, where we immigrated from other universes of other experience to come and learn what this individuated experience would be over a series of 17 to 25 creational universes that all accentuated the individuated stream of consciousness experience.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad I could ask a question that you've never been asked before, so...
Thank you. Actually, because I've researched that in myself, and I'm like, somebody will ask me someday. And after 20 years of doing it, somebody did.
All right. Yeah, it's just an amazing gift that's always around us at all times, is awareness. So, yeah. All right.
All right. You have a really good day. And our last caller, 408, are you there?
I'm here.
Your name?
I just unmuted. My name's Catherine. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm so nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. We only got a couple minutes before the music starts. Okay. So what's your question you want to ask?
Okay, so well, I feel like I'm very disappointed and discouraged in life with financial issues and pain and fatigue from fibromyalgia. And I always want to leave my body, but I feel like the thing that keeps me tethered here is my cat, because she's my child and she needs her mommy. And I have to move this year probably because I won't be able to afford the rent increase, and car not working and no love, and I just need some advice, and anything that you want to tell me would be so wonderful.
The most important thing that you have to understand is the changes that are coming right now with the move and the fibromyalgia is because quite literally something has occurred in your lifetime where you have limited the amount of actual light coming into your body. Your soul is reaching a sickness. And you, as the individuated being, are the soul's healer now by living in this experience, by enduring this experience, because it's at an impasse. It does not know what to do with its spiritual contracts, but at the same time, it knows the individuated being needs to have a grand and mystical experience to recharge the body, but the soul is incapable of giving it right now. So you must generate a mystical experience that heals the soul. This is going to call for a time of you shedding the old skin and making a brand new you.
I feel like I've tried so hard to make changes and to read things and take information in, and it just doesn't stick.
It doesn't stick because you're not disciplined at some level in you, that the depression has taken away from your ability to put a smile behind doing it. I tell this to people: if you're meditating and you don't come out with a smile, you're not doing it right.
Okay.
If you're doing any form of spiritual practice and don't get great joy and happiness by doing it, you're not doing it right.
Okay, so meditate and come out with a smile. Okay.
Like I'm so glad that I did it. You have to give yourself those gifts of joy.
I do have a problem with discipline and any kind of routines, and
you have to get over it.
Kind of like a free spirit, kind of like I don't like routines of any kind.
You need to rebel against the rebellious side and give yourself disciplined structure that is joyful.
Okay.
That is the way out of fibromyalgia, and that is the way of getting out of your own way of doing great things in this world.
Yes. Oh, okay.
All right, darling, that is our music. If you get a chance, maybe call in at the beginning of next Monday's show, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more time with you.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, darling, take it easy. Okay. And everyone out there, you have a really great day. Remember to smile. Remember to bring joy and happiness in your life. And I want to thank Shannon for being my producer. You did an incredible job. Everyone have a great day, and next week we'll be back with Kathy also, and she'll be giving us our update on the Feng Shui Master interviews. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fan. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type, placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio, taking the confusion out of transmutated lunar girdle springs for 4 years and running. Revolution Radio, the #1 listener-supported alternative media radio on the planet.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. See how the trouble you've started?
Join us here on Revolution Radio, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Studio B, for a politician, patriot, social savant, businessman, former investment banker, and Veterans Today columnist, Mike Harris. Listen to Mike as he exposes the corruption, sedition, and terrorism within our own government. He knows our system is flawed and that obstruction of justice is all too commonplace. His show, Short End of the Stick, pokes at this corruption with eloquent style. That's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Studio B, for the Short End of the Stick, with the man who should have been elected governor of Arizona, Mike Harris.
That's right here on Revolution Radio.